Yeah. So, do you have any questions last session?
No, the thing is, I have tried download, but maybe my Wi-Fi speed is not enough.
Mm-hmm.
So it is showing 7 hours, 8 hours to download that software.
No.
So, again, I have started now, but I'm not sure. It's like I have asked Shrikant to get the software. Maybe today I can get and try.
Mm-hmm.
This it has more than 700 MB sensor software. Is there any other way to get that?
No, actually, you should download. Otherwise,
Okay.
first you copy it from somebody else.
Yeah, that's the only the reason. Even yesterday I have sit for 3 hours. Even I went to office very late only, but still it was not complete.
Okay.
Hope at least today this will complete.
Okay. So try to get it done.
Yeah, yeah. I have to.
So once stated, then again go through that recording, same thing, same recording yesterday I shared you, right? So just try
Yes,
to
sure, sure.
build some applications, sample applications, hello world program, and again that payload is there, no set payload. Just drag
Yes.
it and add some other payload, match the two strings. That type of samples try to do it.
Okay.
Okay. No?
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
So
I'll try.
today we'll discuss some more other components. I will introduce one by one. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. See, in Java, we have if condition, right? If else condition, right? So for that, we'll
Yes.
check the condition. If the condition is satisfied, then that loop will execute. That part will execute, right? Or else next part will execute, right? Else part will execute. Or else if there any else if is there, that else if condition is satisfied, then that part will execute, right? So that type of
Yes,
you
yes.
you aware that, right? Okay, so here also
Yeah.
there is a choice router is there for that purpose. Okay, so how choice router will behave? So it will check the condition. If the condition will satisfy, then that part will execute. If the condition is failed, so then default part is there or else one more part. So how many parts will keep it? So that specific part will execute it actually. Understood.
Okay.
And then that is one component. Choice is one component for routing purpose. Another one is there is a variable. So in this there are different types of variables are there. So variable means we'll define some data, right? So in Java we have different types of variables there, like local variables and global variables, like that different types of variables in there. No? Local variables
Yes.
means so we can define within a method, right? So the scope of the method is within a method. The scope is
Yes.
right if it is a local variable. If you try to access from outside, so it's countable access because the scope is within a method, right? So that is nothing but a
Yes.
local variable, right? If we define
Yes.
class level, right? In the class we'll define a top level first, right? So the scope is whole class actually. So any method you can access, right? So that is a
Yes.
class
Yes.
level variable. Like that here also different types of variables are there. So in the palette, so can you able to see this, right? In the palette, I'm trying to show in the palette. So we have a three types of variables. So frequently used variables are these two variables actually. Variable, I mean normal variable and session variable. So here difference is this, normal variable and session variable. What was the difference between normal variable and session variable? See, here based on our requirement, we can define multiple flows actually. So suppose my requirement is I want to connect a database, right? I want to connect a
Yes.
database from my flow. The database connection is common for all of the your flows. Means we have to create only once for connection within your application, right? Multiple times you won't create, only connection established only once. So whenever you want, just create the connection. Whenever you don't want, just stop the connection. Accordingly we'll do actually. Means it's a single time, only once we'll create, several times you can use it. Understood?
Okay. Yeah.
So like that, if you define a if you for that time we'll define some subflows actually, that whatever the database connection is there, whenever you want we create one subflow. So subflow means, go again. So here in a mule actually different flows are there. So whatever you defined yesterday, and that is nothing but it's a main flow. It's a main flow. And again, next one is another flow is, but I'm talking about types of flows. Another one is subflow.
Yes.
Another one is private flow. So these three types of flows are there. Flow is
Mm.
nothing but a combination of message process. Flow is nothing but a combination of message process. Whatever the component here, right? So that is all or nothing but message process. Okay, now.
Okay.
Flow is nothing but a message process in the mule. So we have three types of flows. One is main flow, another one is subflow, another one is subflow, another one is private flow. Is it clear? Okay. No?
Yes.
So this flow is nothing but a message combination of message processor. Again, message processor means that is nothing but this component. Whatever the component we are using in the palette, right?
Mm.
So that is nothing but a message processor. Is it clear? All are nothing but a
Yes.
message processor. So coming to main flow, if you see main flow contains inbound connectors and outbound connectors. Inbound we can keep it, as well as outbound we can keep it. Inbound connectors, comma outbound connectors, as well as other components also we can keep it. So what is meant by inbound connector? So yesterday we discussed about inbound connector means. So that is this drag line, the dotted line is there. No? Can you see this dotted line
Yes.
there? So the left
Yes.
side of the component is nothing but whatever the component you are using, right? That is nothing but an inbound connector.
Okay.
Inbound connector means,
Okay.
so see this service, once we done this service, right? Once you done this service, we'll expose, we are creating REST call actually. So once we've done this, so we'll expose that URL to consumer, right? Understood?
Yes.
So once you've done this, we'll expose this URL to consumer. That consumer trying to call based on that URL, whatever you shared that URL, is trying to call your service. Understood?
Okay.
So using this inbound connector, in the inbound connector, we mention what is a address. Address means it's nothing but either it's a local host, or else it's a remote address, or else it's a domain name, like that. Next one is what was the port number. So these information will share to the consumer. He's trying to call based on your address. Understood? Based on your URL. So that is not he is calling based on your inbound connector. That information we mentioned under the inbound connector. Whatever the inbound connector will use, that information that we configured at inbound connector. Understood?
Okay. Yeah.
So not only HTTP, we have another inbound connectors also there. So we'll introduce one by one, like FTP,
Okay.
FTP, SFTP, then like so many connectors are there, inbound connectors. So based on your requirement, we have to use that inbound connector. Understood? You are clear, right? What
Yes.
what is my inbound connector?
Yes, yes.
Okay, now so that too, some of the inbound connector have request reply process actually. If you see here, two-way direction is there. It will take the request, it will serve the request. Understood?
Okay.
Some of the inbound connectors have only one direction actually. Like for example, FTP.
Mm-hmm.
FTP, it will take the input. It won't serve it actually. Understood?
Okay.
Like only one direction, that is like that. We have so many inbound connectors. We'll introduce one by one. As of now, this HTTP is nothing but a inbound connector. So this HTTP connector, based on our requirement, we can use either inbound connector as well as outbound connector. So now you are clear what is meant by inbound connector, right? So coming to
Yes.
outbound connector. So outbound connector means, suppose once you get the input, right? So consumer trying to access your endpoint means this service. Okay. So he is trying to send some information. So once you get that information, we'll do some modification on that, okay, on the data. Then we have to hit some database, or else we have to hit some CRM application or ERP application, whatever the third party application. We have to insert the record into other application. Understood? So further, we need to try to connect other application, right? That time you use outbound connectors.
Okay.
Okay, now so if you use
Yeah.
HTTP before this dotted line, that will act as a inbound connector. So if you drag same connector to outside of this dotted line, that will act as a outbound connector. Okay, now
Okay.
that's it. So whatever the connector, I mean, some of the connectors, outbound connectors are there. So whatever the connector will use, that is outside of this dotted line, it will access outbound connector for connecting for third-party applications or else database, whatever it is. Okay, now.
Okay.
So that is nothing but an outbound connector. As of now, we are not using any outbound connector. We'll see one by one later. Okay, now main flow is clear. What is meant by main flow? It contains inbound connector as well as outbound connector, and so this have exception handling feature also. We can handle errors also in the main flow itself. Where is that? See here. Here there is an option called error handling. Understood, right?
Is the video is started since
Sorry.
the video got started.
How is it? Which screen you can able to see? What screen currently you
Yeah,
are
yeah.
seeing?
It's, yes, yes. Yeah.
Notepad plus plus.
Notepad I'm saying.
Okay, fine. So I'm also in
Yes,
Notepad++
yes.
only. Now, can you see any point studio?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So here, if you see the option, there is an option called error handling. Can you see?
Yeah, yeah. I'm saying.
Yeah. So in the main flow, there is an option called error handling. So here, what was the purpose of this error handling? Anything happen in this flow, anything wrong in this flow, that exception it will throw to here. So here we need to
Okay.
write custom exception handling action. Understood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Suppose I'm trying to connect the database, right? So as of now, some user ID password equal mule123. So suddenly that guy got changed because of database is some other handled by some other, right? So he changed the username or else password. Then what happened? We are unable to connect because of that wrong credentials, right? So that time what happened? Uh, as a developer, you know, after seeing the exception, you can able to see. So that something is wrong because of that credential. We got some SQL exception, right? We are unable to connect to the
Yeah.
database. So, but we need to tell the consumer, right? Understood. Somebody trying to use your application, we need to tell that error actually, proper error message we need to send them. So as a user, they won't understand, right? As a technical guy, we can able to understand after seeing the SQL exception. But we need to share some same SQL exception to the user. So means we need to customize that exception. You need to customize that exception, then we need to show to the user. So that we need to handle under error handling. Once we got that SQL exception, we cache that SQL exception. We need to write a proper message to the user. then we have to send back to the message to the user. Understood? Boss, some
Okay. Yeah.
credential got changed. Okay. So because of that, we are unable to connect it. So we need to send proper error message. Understood? We catch that exception.
Yes.
Then we need to
Hmm.
frame that message properly. Like that, whatever the exception happened in this flow, we need to handle under error handling. Is that clear? So
Okay.
that is the purpose of the error handling. We have exclusively on exception handling some other class. We'll discuss on that. How to create custom exception handling. So what are the default exceptions handling by MuleSoft we'll discuss. Okay now. So
Yeah.
this is the main flow. Main flow contains inbound connectors, then outbound connector as well as error handling. Okay, that is main flow. Okay. So in the main flow, we can call another flow also. So that is nothing but a subflow we can call it based on our requirement. Okay. Suppose frequently database connections keep on creating, then keep on closing, that type of, right? So we need some subflow for every time we have to create the connection, again close the connection, multiple people will use same connection, right? So that time
Yes.
keep on whatever you use, keep on same thing. That time we will create one subflow. Everybody will call in that subflow in the main flow. Understood? So if you see, here is the subflow. Here is the subflow. So this subflow is this is the main flow. For calling purpose, we need to call that subflow, right? For that purpose,
Hmm.
there is a flow reference is there here, a component. See this is a flow reference. We need to call that, right? Suppose take Java, I will give example, take Java. So in the Java, we are writing some code, 10 lines of code we are writing. In the 10 lines of code, we'll call some other method in the between the 10 lines. We can call it, right, anytime.
Yes.
Understood. So there is a fifth line. I'm trying to call one get to create connection or else create connection method. I will call it. That time what happen whenever it come into the method, it will go again create connection method. Once connection got created, it will come back. Then next lines will execute. Understood.
Yes. Yes.
You got my point, right? And what I'm saying here,
Yeah.
in the method, we can call another method. So once
Yes. Like.
done that method, then next lines of execute in the first method. Understood? So here
Yes.
also same thing I am doing. So I want to call another subflow in the main flow.
Okay.
For that
Got it.
calling, there is a component called flow reference. Flow reference is the component. We need to just drag and drop that method. Just drag and drop method. In the method, we need to mention what subflow you are calling. Before that, we need to
Okay.
create a subflow. See, my subflow name is reply in default language. That is my subflow. How to create subflow? So then type subflow here. There is an option called subflow. Just drag and drop it,
Okay.
then implement accordingly. Then this flow will call in the main flow, right? For that purpose, we need to use, there is a component called flow reference. You have to drag and drop the flow reference. You have to show the subflow method, subflow name. That's it. So, okay, now. So here, whenever your flow will execute, whenever this condition is satisfied in the choice method, choice component, then it will come back here. So then it will go based on your subflow. Then it will jump here. This will execute. Once this is done, it will come back. You are clear.
Okay. Yes. Yes.
So that is nothing but a subflow. So subflow will call in the main flow. Then see the difference. Here error handling there na. Did you see the error handling?
Yes.
See this. So but
Yes.
here there is no error handling.
Yeah. It's
It's
a flow.
depend upon the main flow. Suppose anything happen in the main subflow, what happen? Where error will occur, where will catch the exception? Under main flow only.
Okay.
Under main flow only. You are getting right.
Okay.
So if you see here,
Yes.
there is no inbound connector here.
Hmm.
There is no inbound connector and there is no error handling. That is the difference between this and this. I mean main flow and
Okay.
subflow. Okay.
Okay.
Another one. So next one is a private flow. So what is meant by private flow? In private flow, difference is private flow difference is, so there is no inbound connector, but we can have error handling in the private flow. So did you get the three
Okay.
differences? Main flow having inbound connector and outbound connector as well as error handling. Okay. So in the subflow, so we don't have any error handling concept. So anything happen in the subflow that will come to the main flow, we have to catch accordingly, we have to implement. So next one is private flow. So similarly, it doesn't have any inbound connector. We can keep it outbound connector, but there is no inbound connector in the subflow. So next one is private flow. Private flow is nothing but there is no inbound connector, but it have error handling concept. Anything happen in the private flow, so itself we can handle it. Is it clear the difference? Three types of flows are there:
So,
main flow,
in what
subflow.
cases we can use this private
Yes,
flow?
yes. So, uh, in the best scenario, suppose take a database connection. Okay, na? So take database
Okay.
connection. Anything is wrong, then generally, if there is no private flow, if we handle in the subflow, then that will come back to the main flow. That error, right? We have to handle in the
Yes.
main flow itself. But why don't we handle in the main flow? Why don't we handle that flow itself? That time we have to use private flow. In the private flow itself, we have to handle that error handling. That is the difference. You
Okay.
are getting my point. Suppose see this, in this subflow, this is a subflow, right? Something happened in this component. So where will catch that
Hmm.
exception? Here we need to handle it, main flow. So
Yes, yes.
if you use private flow now, what happened? Here itself you can handle that error handling. No need to come back
So,
here. Here we need to catch it. No need to write it here. Here we can keep it actually. So private flow means there is no meaning, there is no component of private flow actually. It's a flow only. It's a flow only,
mhm.
but we remove that inbound connector actually. We can't keep that inbound connector. We left that inbound connector. You can keep it some component in the right side of the dotted line. Suppose see, it's look like this.
Okay.
This is private flow. If you see here, error handling is there, na? Error handling is there, but there is no
Hmm.
inbound connector. We can
Inbound.
keep it
Okay.
multiple things on the outbound side. You can keep it whatever the functionality you want to achieve. You can write. You can keep it third-party connectors. We can sorry third-party. I mean outbound connector. You can keep it. You can connect third-party applications like that. You are clear. You can
Okay.
see clearly different. See this? This is the main flow. Main flow have inbound connector as well as outbound. So if error handling also, if you see here, there is no error handling, there is no inbound connector. We can keep it outbound connector. Similarly, if you see here there is no inbound connector, source is empty. You can keep it outbound connectors and error handling also there.
Okay. So can we call this private flow from main flow?
Yeah, obviously. Then how we'll call it? Based
Mm.
on flow reference, we'll call this. Similarly, how
Okay.
we'll call subflow, we can keep it the flow reference.
Hmm.
Then flow reference, we can mention the private flow name. So then it will call it. So only difference
Okay.
is this error handling actually. Anything happen in this flow, we can handle error here itself actually. No need to come back to the main
Okay.
flow, then we'll handle there now. So that is not required.
Okay.
So hope you are clear three differences.
Yes, yes. But only the thing is the program, right? The application.
Mm.
I'm able to understand the connectors and its purpose, but maybe that code I'm unable to understand.
This one
Whatever.
I'm not explain, not at explain. Now I will explain.
Yeah, yeah. Just I'm telling.
Yeah, I will explain.
Connectors I'm able to understand.
Okay. So this is
Yeah.
the means the difference between flows. Accordingly we have to use it actually. So based on our requirement we'll go
Okay.
for sub flow or else main flow or else private flow. We have to choose it, we have to implement accordingly. So come back to where we are. So we are under variables, right? We are discussing about variables. Here come back to the variable. If you define a variable in the flow, suppose here I was defining a variable, set the language variable, right? If you define this variable, the scope of this variable is we can use here uh, in this main flow. We can use this is main flow, right? Similarly, we can use in
Yes.
subflow also. Understood?
Okay.
Another one is session variable actually. So if you define the variable, so how many flows you will implement, whole flows that variable is available. If you define as a session variable, that's what the difference actually. The variable, the scope of the variable is within this flow as well as subflows also can use it. So if you define a session variable, not only subflow, another private flows you can use it. If you define any another flows also, not only this. Suppose I can define another flow. Suppose here right click on this, you can create other flows also. Mule configuration file you can create it, you can define it. So then in this also the session variable scope is available. But if you define a normal variable, that is not available in outside of this flows, but only within this
Okay.
flow and this subflow. I will show you the example, but
Okay.
as of now, I'm trying to use the variable. That's why I'm trying to explain that session variable and variable difference. So we'll see the example also, how the scope is. Okay,
Yeah,
coming
sure.
to this flow. So the purpose of this flow is I will send one language as a query parameter. Based on the language, it will take the decision, it will give the reply that particular language. If you send the request in the hello,
Okay.
it will give you as an hello. If you send some Spanish language, it will give the reply to Spanish. Okay, now that's what
Okay.
a
Okay.
requirement here. So further, I kept one HTTP connector. You are clear HTTP connector, right? Just drag and
Yes,
drop
yes.
from the palette. Drag and drop from the palette. Okay, this is the HTTP connector. In the HTTP connector, so this is the configuration setting. So click plus symbol, will get it. So there is a pop-up will come. Here choose the local host or else according to your address, remote or else local host. Next one is port. So give some unique port, that's it. So then you can give here some path or else slash also fine. If you want to give context path, then you can give it some base path. So that is a HTTP
Okay.
connector configuration. So next one is I just drag and drop the variable. And this is the variable. It's a normal variable only. It's nothing but a flow variable. You can call it as flow variable, session variable. Then one more is a record variable, but will frequently used variables are flow variable. Even session variable also will you won't use it actually, because once you define the session variable, it will keep on available, right? So that's what people want
Okay.
to prefer
Yes.
session variable until unless your code demand it. So this is the
Yes.
variable. So once you drag and drop it, we have to set the variable. We have two options here: set the variable, remove variable. If you want the remove the variable
Okay.
already exists, you can remove it. So but here I want to set
Mm.
the variable. I want to set some data in the variable. Okay, so create some name. So this is nothing. Whatever the display name is nothing but in the flow we can see that name. Here set the language variable is there, no? That is nothing but a
Yes.
display name. So next one is, so here this is a original name actually. This is a display name. This is your flow variable name. So if you want to call this variable in the next message processor or else somewhere else, if you want to use it, this is a unique name actually. Based on this only we can able to call it. Understood? Not this.
Okay.
This is
Yeah.
only displaying name. This is your variable name. Okay, no? So next, if you want
Okay.
to use it, you have to call this name based on this name. Okay, I will tell you how to
Okay.
call it. So but this is a unique name we have to give it. Next one is here, my requirement is uh, that variable value, so it should come through URL. Actually, whoever calling my service, that guy will send language name also. So whenever he'll send the language, I'm trying to get that language, I mean trying to get that language name. I'm keeping into this variable. This is
Okay.
called Mule Expression Language, MEL, Mule Expression Language. So we'll discuss this thing again, Mule Expression Language. But as of now, I'm trying to explaining how to get the query parameter. Suppose here I'm trying to
Okay.
send like this. See here, can you see my browser, right?
Yes, yes.
See this. I'm sending like this. So 804 is my port number. Then question mark language equal to English I'm sending. Okay, na?
Okay.
Language equal to English I'm sending. After question mark
Mm.
is nothing but a query parameter.
Okay.
Whatever you are mentioning after the question mark. So this is the HTTP, that's the protocol. Okay, whatever in the browser we are trying to call, so based on the protocol only we can able to call it like HTTP or HTTPS. Okay, next one is this is your address. Next one is this is your port number. Next, this is nothing but your query parameter, language equal to English.
Okay.
So I'm trying to call this language in the variable. Okay, whatever the user enter this
Mm.
language type, I'm trying to get it in the variable. How can I get it? See this, there is a mule expression language. All the mule expression language will start with hash symbol. Between that we have to write that
Okay.
mule expression language. Okay, so in
Mm.
that, see how can I am getting message dot inbound properties. Message dot inbound properties. So here we have in the message, we have inbound properties, outbound properties, as well as attachment. Message contains these
Okay.
parts. Message means nothing but user giving input, right? So or it's user sending some payload. That is nothing but a message actually. So here in that we have different parts actually. Under the message we have inbound properties as well as outbound properties like that. But as of now, user is entering some parameter, right? So we need to get that query parameter. So further, there is a mail expression language. In the mail expression language, so message dot inbound properties of, so that is the query parameter actually. That is the query parameter. So that query parameter we have to get it actually. So how we'll get it? I'm removing and I'm typing again this all stuff. See this, while typing itself it will show you. No bother about that. Can you see this?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, suggestions will show you. So accordingly you have to implement. Message dot inbound
Okay.
properties of what it is, HTTP query parameter. Within a single quotes we have to keep it HTTP query params.
Okay.
Then From that, what was the parameter we need to get it? Language, right? That language you have to enter.
Yes.
Means whatever the parameter name is here, right? That parameter name you have to mention.
Okay.
Clear. See
Yes,
this
yes.
message dot inbound. While typing itself, it will show you suggestion. Inbound properties of HTTP query params and language. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, according to this statement, according to this value, it is coming as a dynamic, right? So we can keep it hard code. If you want to do hard code, then we can remove that. We can mention directly some value
Okay.
that if you want to hard code it. So then as of now, we are getting as a dynamic parameter. Means that is nothing but a
Okay.
query parameter. Now we have a language, right? You are clear. So whenever user will
Yes.
hit it, that language will store in the variable. Now we have a language,
Okay.
right? So then after
Yes.
that I am using a choice component. So here there is a choice is there. There is a choice is there. See this? This is the choice actually.
Yes.
So why you will use? When you will use routes message based on that condition.
Yeah.
Okay, now. So in the choice, see the configuration. In the choice, see this one, we define the language no, in the variable. What were the variable of that language? See, variable of that
Language.
this one component language, right? So we need to get that language, right? So in that choice, we need to check the condition. So see this, how we'll get it. Flow wars of language. You are
Okay.
getting right? How we are getting?
Yes.
How we are calling flow wars of language. Similarly, hash symbol, then square brackets, then flow wars of language. Suppose in our flow multiple variables you define, accordingly we have to give it actually. Our variable name is language, right? We already defined it. Okay. How will call it? That is a flow variable. Flow wars of square bracket within a single quotes language.
Okay.
This is look
So
like
these all Mule expression
yes,
language, right?
exactly. This is look like JSP. JSP is there na, in the Java server
Yeah.
pages concept. It's look like same thing actually. This language,
Okay.
Mule expression language (MEL). Okay. So flow wars of that language. If it is a session variable, session wars of that variable. Okay, na. So
Okay.
then I'm checking the condition in the component choice component. If user enter language equal Spanish. Okay, now.
Hmm.
So he is entering language name here, right? Language equal to English. Okay, or else
Yes.
language equal to Spanish. So if you enter, if that equal, that first condition is satisfied, where it will go? It will go to the reply in Spanish.
Mhm.
So if the
Okay.
second condition is satisfied, reply in French. Else default condition. So if user doesn't enter any language, or else apart from this either of that, it's not either of that, like Spanish and French out, it's not either, or else any other language like English or some other language, so that will go to the default condition. You are getting my point, right?
Okay.
We're just
Yes.
checking
Yes.
the
Got it.
based on the condition, like if else if then else. So first condition is satisfied, it will route to here. Second condition is satisfied, it will go here. If either of that not satisfied, then it will go to the default. You are
Okay.
clear. So here reply in
Yes.
Spanish
Got it.
means what? Here reply in Spanish means this is nothing but reply in Spanish. Once you drag and drop that choice component, it will come like this. I will show you again. I will drag and drop it. Uh, I'm just drag and drop here. See this? It will come like this. Did you see? Can you see?
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
here we can drag and drop again according to your requirement. You can drag and drop here, and
Okay.
in the default also can drag and drop according to your condition. Actually, multiple things you can keep it. Can you see here, right?
Yeah.
So then here we have to write the condition. Here we have to write the condition. Accordingly, we have to route it actually. If the first condition will satisfy, then it will go here. Second condition will satisfy, then it will go here. Third condition, I mean either of the, anyway it will go default. If any condition is
Okay.
not satisfied, default is there, it's nothing but a else part in the Java.
Yes, yes.
It will go here.
Okay.
Accordingly, once this any one is done, then finally it will go on here only.
Okay. Got that.
Yes, I'm just, this is a logger actually. Again here, this is what yesterday we saw, that this is nothing but a set the payload. I just set the
Hmm.
payload. Some I just hard coded the data. Hello something. Spanish. Similarly, French. So you are clear,
Okay.
right? This is nothing but what component it is. It's a set the payload. Just type per
Yes.
payload. Set the payload is no. This is a component.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Got it.
This is the configuration of that. Generally, we should get dynamic, but as of now, according to our POC, I just hard coded
Hmm.
it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, if you want to get the dynamic, see this message. If you want to get message or else payload, accordingly you
Hmm.
have to write it. Mule expression
Okay.
language. Okay, now.
Yeah.
So that is nothing but a set default. These two are set payloads. Then this is nothing but flow reference. You are clear. This is a flow reference. Just now we discussed about subflow now. This is a flow reference. Where
Yes.
it will go, what was the flow name here? Reply in default language. That is a
Default.
flow reference, right? So whenever, sorry, that is a subflow. So whenever request will come here in the default, then it will jump to that particular subflow. Whatever the flow name you mentioned, it will go here. Is it clear?
Okay.
So my
Yes.
subflow is nothing but this. So whenever request will come there, it will jump here. Then this part will execute. Again, I kept a logger here. I just displayed no language specified using English as a default. I just mentioned a hard-coded message. If you want to display here also dynamic, you can keep it dynamic messages. I mean, dynamic data if you want to display it, what payload you are getting, what message you are getting, dynamically I want to show it, then you can keep it. As of now, I just tried some hardcode message, no longer specified, so it will come to the default. You are clear?
Okay.
So
Yes.
then
Yes.
I'm setting again, it's a variable. See this, it's a variable again. So language equal to English. Then this is what? Set payload. In the payload, I just mention hello in the English.
Okay.
Clear, right? So whenever user will hit the
Yes.
request, it will store the language name, it will check the condition accordingly. Based on the condition, it will route it accordingly. If user enters Spanish, it will go here. If the user enter French, it will go here. If user not enter any language or else English, then it will go here. This from here again it will jump to in the subflow, right? So in the subflow it will execute accordingly. Then finally it will give reply in English. Then where it will come again? Again it will come to here main flow
Okay.
because there is a flow
Yes.
reference. Once everything is done, it will come back and it will execute further message process.
Okay.
So clear?
Yes. Clear.
Okay, so I'm trying to deploy this application. So then right click on the application, then run as main application. Okay, so deployed successfully, no issues. Then we need to hit the request, right? I'm trying to hit the request in the French. See this, what we are getting?
Okay.
That is French language hello. So where will set it?
Okay.
Reply in French, right? This is we are getting.
Yes.
So we can see log also actually. We displayed that log, right? See.
Yeah.
Here I'm trying to display the dynamically the reply payload then means hello in the language. So you can see this in the log also. See the reply in this is a dynamic payload hello in French.
Okay.
You're getting right. So that is in
Yes.
for that condition. Suppose I'm not sending anything, then let's see what happened. Or else if you send English,
No.
okay. So there is no language, right? There is no condition for English, right? Let's see if you remove what it will do. I'm sending empty. Okay, na? I'm not sending any query
Yeah.
parameter value. So even though it will give hello only because it's a
Default language.
yes exactly. Okay. So then let's see how the flow is executed step by step. We'll see. So we'll see debug actually, debug mode. Generally, whenever hit the
Okay.
request, it will execute whole, right? I want to see what the I want to see in step by step, right? So in debug mode, we'll see how to execute in the debug mode this application. Okay, now just in the right leg, we'll get an option called toggle breakpoint.
Yeah.
Can you see this? There is an option called toggle
Yes.
breakpoint.
Yeah.
If you click that breakpoint, it will stop there. It will stop there. Then, if you click, if you want to go next level, then you have to click some shortcut F6 or X. There is some option is there. Then next time only it will go step by step. In Java, we have a debug mode, right? You will click F7
Yeah.
kind of thing. Next by step we want to see, right? Similarly, here
Yes.
also you
Yes.
can see. So now I'm trying to
Okay.
run, see how to run this debug mode, this application. So debug as Mule application. Previously run as Mule application, na? Is it clear?
Yes.
So
Now
now, so
debugging.
deep, yes, exactly. Okay, it will ask the dialog, click S. So if you see, it will change the IDE parts also. It will set that a perspective, what we call this is perspective. It will change that perspective also. Okay, now. So now I am hitting
Yeah.
the request. Now I am hitting the request. Let's see. Oh, it's not stopping. No, it's not stopping. So sometimes what will get it. So this is trial version, no? This IDE. If trial version will go over, then we can't able to debug it. We open
Okay.
another one.
Is this remote connection one?
Sorry,
No, now you're opening any remote connection?
not remote connection, but another endpoint studio.
Okay.
I mean different workspace I have also. Just I will restart this. Sometimes after restarting it will work. Okay, now let's say see debug. I mean previously some slashes came right between this.
Yes.
Now see. Okay, so deployment is done. Let's see. I'm trying to hit again. Now see this. I just restarted. Sometimes there is any points to the issues are there. Just restart it. It should work actually. So now see that a breakpoint got stopped here because we kept a breakpoint
Okay.
there. Okay.
Yes.
Now
Yes.
see. You can see the debug mode actually. So here Mule debugger is
Mm-hmm.
there, no? So here uh, there is a, if you want to check dynamically, there is an option called evaluate Mule expression. There is a symbol
Okay.
called x plus y kind of thing, evaluate Mule expression language. If you click,
Okay.
if you click that, there is a pop-up will come. In that we can check it actually.
Mm.
What was the flow variables we are getting? What was the syntax kind of thing? So any we can frame it syntax. We can use there actually. Understood what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Okay.
What
Yes.
payload you are getting, we can click it actually. As of now, payload is not getting, but some message we are getting, right? Some query parameter we are passing, right? Message dot
Yes.
inbound properties dot. See these many inbound properties you are getting,
Okay.
but that is not user specific. That is by default will come through application your browser. See this. This is a user not sending any value language.
Yes.
These are all through browser actually, except language English. This is browser information we are getting,
Yes.
all our browser information. But here, this is our query parameter actually. Language coming as empty. User not sending any language. Okay now.
Oh,
So this was we are getting in the variable, right? We are trying to keep that information in the language variable. Okay. So once
yes.
this is done, I want to go next step. Here there is a down symbol is there. Next processor. Can you see? So there is a
Yes.
F6. Click that F6 or else click this symbol. Next it will jump to next. So
Okay.
means here we are checking. See, as a developer, we need to run always in debug mode. Always we have to check that what data we are getting, how the flow is executing. Okay. So next here, once this condition satisfied, where it will go accordingly, it will go that particular route. I'm clicking again next. See this where it gone? Default, because we're
Yes.
not sending any language. Okay. So from here where it will go? Again it will go to the subfloor, right?
So,
So let's see.
yes.
See, it will go to the subfloor. Then it will set the wrong default language. Then it will go to the payload. Then again come back to where it will come back. It should come to here, right?
And main flow. Yes.
Exactly. Then everything is done. So if you want to see step by step, click F6 or else the symbol. So if you want to resume
Okay.
it, I don't want to do step by step. I want to go, next step completely. So then completely out of that, click resume or else F8. It will go out. Okay, na?
Okay.
Yeah, clear. So this is the way to run the application in the debug mode. So just we have to keep it at debugger point. Okay, debug point. Right click on
Okay.
this. If you want to remove it, you can remove it actually. Right click on this. Click toggle point. If you want to keep it, right click on it. So keep toggle point.
Okay.
Then this is the way to debug your application. So sometimes what happen, we written the condition here, but we are not sure what we are getting in the dynamic time. So that time you have to run it as a debug mode. Then we'll check using that Mule expression language. That symbol is schema I was showing you, right?
Yes.
Suppose I'm sending some language, how it will be here. Let's see. Uh, French, right? F-R-E-N-C-H. I hit the French. Again, see here. Again, request came. Let's see. So this is a symbol I'm talking about. If you click here, now see how what parameter we are getting. Message dot inbound properties of, yeah, inbound properties of H. I can directly enter here. So within a single quote, HTTP dot query dot params. Now see only one query param came. That is nothing but a language, right? So how will get that particular language? Keep it a dot here. Keep the dot here. Then enter language. Okay, na? Uh-huh.
No.
L-A-N-G-U-H. It's not correct.
L is missing.
Okay, we're getting it. Now valley is French.
Okay.
Valley is French. So this is a way to type this. So any doubts we'll get, then open this, then we'll check it. This syntax you can use directly here, right?
Hmm.
You're getting. So that is a way actually. Next, click F6. You go to French. Then click this. Okay, now so that is the thing
Yeah.
we can run in debug mode also. So any questions as of now?
No, no. It's clear.
Okay, good.